ballet on the rocks, baby.
Yeah, ooh, one of my favorite things.
Yes. You know what, my friend, well, I don't really, he's not my friend because I don't know him personally, but I like to think of him as my friend. Joe McNally says, if you want a great picture, have a ballerina come with you.
Yeah, I just want one in my back pocket.
In your back pocket. I didn't want to say that because it might sound kind of weird having a ballerina in your pocket. But, you know, anyways, yeah, you add a ballerina into any picture.
That's right.
You got goodness. So we were spending our day out on one of our favorite locations, Bald Rock, up in Northern California there, which is this big granite dome. It's just seen
in the middle of nowhere that you wouldn't expect it to be.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay. And we set out the expectation that we had really a couple shots that we had to get, right? And we're going to go through those shots and kind of tell you our thinking of why we wanted that shot. But just to kind of set the stage of what you're going to see is that there's some pretty spectacular scenery up there. So actually, let's just jump into it, right? So this first shot I hear up here of our ballerina, Audrey, who was awesome. Like, she's very accomplished. She had a request, though, before she started, is that, okay, she had these custom-made.
Yeah, so the Nutcracker was coming up, and she's like, these are handmade like by one of these ladies that she knew that, like, it was a big deal to bring these costumes out, you know, that were going to be on stage.
And when she pulled this out of the bag, right, was this picture. It was like, wow, oh, red.
Yeah,
bingo. Right, red just makes it's a winner for a color for picture. So this was the one of the premier spots that we knew we had to get this picture, which I think turned out, it's pretty spectacular, right? You look at the layers and the depth of this scenery.
So one thing first, though, this didn't happen by accident. So you and I have been up to Bald Rock, even without models, to go scout the area. So that's one of those tips of, like, a lot of times you guys will look and see our photos and go like, you get to go to these amazing locations. Well, guess what? Sometimes it just requires us to go out to a place first. And it takes work. You got to go find.
What do we say?
It doesn't just happen. Don't be lazy,
right? So you can't be lazy.
So this is a spot you and I had found, and we were like, okay, we're going to shoot a ballerina.
Yeah, that's like, I saw it in my head when we first saw it. Ballerina. Right? But here's the thing, okay? All of you ballerinas and dance photographers out there, I don't call myself a dance photographer. I enjoy shooting it, but it's not my expertise, are going to say, your picture sucks.
Yeah.
Where I'm just looking at, wow, look at how cool it looks. Because you're not showing her.
You cut one of her feet off.
Yep, I did.
Yep.
There's a reason, which we tried. What we didn't realize, since you and I are not ballet dancers, I don't know if you figured that out, but we're not ballet dancers. But is that
I've got some moves.
Yeah. So yes, you do. You've got some moves. But here's the thing we didn't realize: there's no place for her feet to stand on point. They are on the rock. Yeah. Like we're going. Okay. Yeah. We just go up there. Well, there's also, it's a sheer cliff behind 100 feet before the next rock.
Yeah.
Behind her.
I don't believe she was in any danger right where she was, because she was forward. Yes, there was danger. But we had somebody on the left waiting, you know, to spot, like, I'll catch you. No, because falling forward, she could jump down into the rock. So, but it is a very precarious spot.
I was going to say, it's not as precarious as me.
Yeah. Her mom with us was very nervous, but she kept saying, if you're confident, I'm confident. So,
and Audrey was very confident.
Yeah.
So my whole takeaway there was that there was no place for her feet. Like, I tried to manipulate, can you just move up or no?
Yeah.
Could you? No. And this was the only way that we could get her.
And I know what you guys are going to say. No, you as the photographer should have moved over to the left. We were on a rock face. There was a chasm between us that was 40 feet deep. That you only had this.
I was on the edge
spot.
I was on the edge. So she was on the edge. I was on the edge, and her mom was very much on the edge.
Yes.
So anyways, here was the thing. Well, so once we got her up there, we're like, okay, we really need to think about our lighting, right? And so, we like that beautiful beauty light and stuff when we tried that first.
Yeah, because I think I pulled out my FJ400 and I had my medium softbox.
This is going to be my lighting.
And I'm holding it up there. I'm down. I'm the guy on the left there holding the light. You're yelling at me. I'm yelling at her, like, move this way.
In a nice way.
And yes.
So you had your, we were using the Cheetah Stand C12.
All the way
up 12 feet. So you're balancing your medium octasoft
on an angle
with your FJ400, 12 feet. Like, it was pretty funny on the side of it. So you're waving back and forth. So I took a few snaps and, like, Mark, I don't like it. You're like, what are you talking about? You're screaming at me like that. I don't like it, because you're like, keep shooting. I'm like, no, I don't like it. And you're like, okay. So I said, lower the light for a second. So you brought the light down, and then it's like, what don't you like? I said, well, look at all the spill. So let's look at the picture again.
Yeah.
So this picture is not taken the way I'm going to explain.
Correct.
First version. That rock that's over on the right side of the frame.
Yeah, it was all lit.
Was completely lit. She was basically the same brightness as everything else because I was getting so much spill.
Correct.
Coming through. So I said, let's do this. Let's just take off that softbox, put the standard size reflector, right? Those
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
right?
And you're like, it's spreading too much.
Yeah. And so, we put that on. I said, raise it back up. Well, and then I said, remember, we need to maybe lower that positioning of the light pointing down a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because of that inverse square law, right?
Yeah, because I think in the beginning, I wasn't fully extended. I kind of was where I want the softbox, like at the chin level.
You're probably at the 10-foot extension, right? So you boosted that all the way up, tilted the light down a little bit, and now you can see where that fall off happens, right? It focuses right on the bowl that she's standing on, and then a little bit on that front facing rock. I think it's maybe a little bit harder light than I would normally light a ballerina with, but it worked.
It was very
worked really well. So
this is something we learned by pointing it down was at the salt flats in Utah. It's because you can see that pattern of light on the ground. And it was that thing of we realized, hey, when we point down, the inverse square law takes effect.
Right.
If we're pointing a light out and our ballerina or our model is here, all of this ground light is getting the same light that she's getting. But when we angle it down, the light's hitting the top of our model. And by the time it hits the ground, by the inverse square law, we've lost like 2 stops of light. And so it's less. And so that's where it's your brain has to wrap around that idea of the angle of what's behind. It's no different than shooting wildlife. If you shoot down on an animal and the background is right behind it, you're going to see the detail. But if you get down lower and shoot it where the background is further away, you're going to get this beautiful bokeh. So
that was cool. I think I got what I was looking for. I wish I could have seen her feet, but it is what it is. And that's the thing. Like sometimes you got to get the shot, even though it's not the perfect shot or the shot that you dreamed up in your head.
But these shots that we took, they're some of my favorites of the year. I just think it's so dramatic, and to know where we were and hanging over that cliff, it's exciting.
And a big shout out to Audrey, who actually stepped up literally and awesome on that rock for about an hour. So
we also had a second model with us, Claudia, as a friend, and she went out. And one of the things that we kept trying to figure out is there's these cool rock formations, but one of the things we always try to talk to people about is how important when you're shooting outdoor photos, the background is, or, blending into your background. So it actually looks like they're supposed to be there rather than just, oh, that's neat. Just stand there. We have put some thought into what's going on. So we found this rock that we call the wave rock. And right away, you and I both went, wow, look at that wave. What can we do that mimics that wave? And immediately we were like, Claudia, what kind of pose can we get you into that's going to mimic? Well, just like your rock photo with Audrey, man, as a photographer, I go, just stand there. Like, if you look at this photo, you're going to see that she's standing on a domed rock. And I'm like, yeah, just stand there and do this. Like, you still have to figure out how they're going to actually stand there. And if you've ever worked with ballerinas, is just being able to get in placement sometime. If their toes have to move, there's nowhere to move. So they're going to fall. Yeah, there's nothing to grab onto. So the idea with this image was this wave rock, we wanted her to bend the same way that rock was. And I think we got a phenomenal photo. And I think towards the end of the video, we're going to show you another picture we did with a different model later that mimics that wave in a different way. So that's the reason I wanted to show this. I love this photo. It's one of my favorite dance photos of this year. And it has to do with looking at your background and actually putting your model, within that scene using the background. So hopefully that makes sense.
It was cool. Oh man, like I said in the beginning, anytime you can shoot with the ballerina,
it's amazing.
Day. So this day was no different than any great photo day. But man, let's just show a few of our favorite shots from the day. Take a look at that. And it was such a good day. Take a look at these.
All right. Hey, but don't forget,
don't be lazy.
Don't be lazy.